Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for this information session aimed at employers who are keen to know more about taking on an apprentice. My name's Emma Raymond and I'm the employer engagement team leader here at Langley College. Myself and my colleague Shoaib will run through the presentation today. We also have our marketing department here with us manning the chat box. So if you have any questions at all, please pop them into the chat box. Marketing will reply to you, and at the end we'll run through specific questions and or go through anything in more detail. Also worth mentioning that the apprenticeship team are taking over the live chat this week as part of National Apprenticeship Week. So we'll be online between 4 and 7 all week. So if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to organise for one of us to give you a call back, or if you want to come in and visit the college and see the workshops, we would be delighted to welcome you. So pop online between 4 and 7 and we'll be there to answer any questions. I'm hoping that you can all kind of hear me okay and see the presentation okay. If not, pop it in the web chat and marketing will come back to you. So today's presentation will hopefully cover everything you need to know about recruiting an apprentice. As I say, myself and Shoaib will run through everything with you. So throughout the duration of the presentation, we will hopefully cover everything from A to Z about taking on an apprentice, from who can be an apprentice, what we expect from employers in terms of commitment, and how we can help you and support you in bringing an apprentice into your team. Thank you, Lynn. So firstly, who can be an apprentice? So to be an apprentice, you have to have finished your full-time education, be over 16 and live in England. So that's the only requirements to be an apprentice. You don't have to be age 16 to 18. You can be any age at all. It could be that you are or you have an employee who's working within your staff team at the moment and they're looking to upskill, and they could be an apprentice. So, you know, it's open to anyone. As long as they finish school, it's open to anybody. And you can already have qualifications, as I said, but looking to upskill. So you could already have a degree, but look to undertake an apprenticeship at a different level. So there is a commitment needed from employers to make sure that the apprenticeship journey is successful. Apprentices are really focused on work-based learning. So the training that the apprentice receives is all tailored to suit your individual business needs. So it's really important, it's really vital that you know, a line manager is really involved in the apprenticeship journey. Learners have got to be exposed to a variety of skills. They've got to be able to increase their knowledge, to be able to learn and progress through their apprenticeship course. They must have a coach at work. They must have a mentor that will support them in their learning, and collecting their off-the-job hours, which is part of the assessment of the apprenticeship. Apprentices also must have a contract of employment in place. They are an employee of the business, so they need to have a contract of employment in place that has to last the duration of the course. They must be employed for a minimum of 30 hours a week, and they must be paid through the PAYE scheme. So there's kind of 3 requirements of to meet funding requirements. You have to have those 3 things in place. So yeah, as I've said, the part of the assessment of the apprenticeship course is collating 20% off the job hours, which we'll go through a bit later. The employer must be available to meet with the skills coach and the assessor to support with the journey throughout the apprenticeship, and be involved in the endpoint assessment. Because it's all work-based learning, because the employers take the lead on the training, they have to be involved at the end of the course to let the assessor know, you know, this learner is ready to go through their endpoint assessment, and we're confident that they are competent on all the skills needed to go through the endpoint assessment. So what does an apprenticeship look like? So at the very, very beginning of the apprenticeship, there's an initial assessment. So generally, this would be an interview with the course assessor, where the assessor will talk to the learner about what kind of work they do, you know, what the company does, because it's vital that the job role the learner has will give them the opportunity to be exposed to a range of different skills that they will also be covering in college. So the assessor will run through that with the learner before the learner is then offered a place on the course. The learning part of the course, we call it the practical period. And in this practical period, the learner will be doing all of their training, work-based, and coming into college potentially for their workshop training. They'll increase their knowledge, they'll increase their skills. They may have to do functional skills, English and maths, so they'll be doing that during that period as well, and collating the 20% off the job hours. Once we've reached the end of the practical period, we then go into what we call gateway. And gateway is the preparation for the endpoint assessment. So during gateway, the assessor and the employer and learner will all sit down, make sure that the photographs are all in place, make sure the portfolios are correct, make sure the off the job hours are all there. You know, you must have 20%. If they're below that, you've got to bring it up to that 20%. You might do some mock exams as well. It's all preparation for this endpoint assessment, which is the final assessment before your learner will complete. The endpoint assessment can take on a number of different formats depending on the course that the learner does. So it could be, it could involve things like a multiple choice exam, a practical assessment for the trades. It tends to be a practical assessment, a professional discussion, or an exam. So there's different kind of variants on the endpoint assessment, but once the learner's completed that, they then go through to completion, which is the end of the journey when they've passed their course and they'll get their certificate. So off the job hours, this is a relatively new thing that's been introduced by the government, and it's basically to make sure that the apprentices are learning throughout their journey. Every learner will be told at the very beginning of their course how many off the job hours they need to collate before they get to the endpoint assessment. And there's a number of different things that are classed as off the job training. So it can be, you know, shadowing a more senior member of the team. So if you're a carpentry apprentice, you might be working with a senior carpenter and shadowing them, watching them at work. It could be watching a video on YouTube, for example. It could be doing some research. It could be reflecting on the learning that you've done, writing assessments. So there's lots of different things that count towards off the job hours, but it's anything that is developing that learner, any skills that they're learning, any behaviors, anything at all that's new learning needs to be logged, and it just proves that the learner is being developed at work. So why take on an apprentice? So we've done a bit of research, and I think the biggest message that the biggest feedback we were getting is it's a really good way to grow talent. As I said earlier on, it's all work-based learning. So all the training will be tailored by you, by the employer, to benefit your business. So 86% of employers said that apprenticeships help them to develop skills that are relevant to their organization. 78% of employers said apprenticeships help them improve productivity, and 74% of employers said apprenticeships help them improve the quality of their product or service. So really beneficial in a number of different ways. But I think the main message, as I say, is bringing on a talented and skilled workforce.
Hello, everyone. So my name's Shoaib. I'm going to run through a few slides with you as well, a few points. To begin with, we're going to show you a video from one of our own apprentices, just so you can see an idea of, what our apprentices actually, how they feel, what they think of the course, these sort of things. So Lynn, if you could just play the video, please.
My name's Tyrese. I'm 23 and I'm studying a level 3 engineering course at Langley College. I chose an apprenticeship just so I could learn and earn at the same time and further advance my engineering skills, enjoy it, and having hands-on experience as well. Yeah, so I was offered a job at John Crane, and then later on I was enrolled into Langley College to learn about the advanced engineering course. So I install gas seals and test them. But we're under training at the moment, so someone always has to be with us when we're doing it. So on Wednesday we get a day release, and then we learn about the theory aspect of engineering. We get sent back to work, and then there I'm learning about how to install and test gas seals. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend an apprenticeship, because at the same time, like I said, you're earning and learning at the same time, so you could better advance your skills. And yeah, so 100% definitely do it.
Yeah, so as you can see with that, Tyrese is coming into college, he's learning the skills, honing in on them, and then, he's going back to work and he's able to kind of, implement those skills in his day-to-day job. So yeah, that's always beneficial. Next slide, please, Lynn.
Yeah. Bear with me.
Yeah, so then if you have a look at some of the benefits of employing an apprentice, a lot of these are based off feedback from employers, regular employers that we actually deal with. Just doing a bit of a survey, if you will, of what are some of the best benefits of taking on an apprentice. Raising staff morale. We always make sure, if we're sending an apprentice to you, if you found someone, we're always, we do checks, we have the assessor interview the apprentice, all these sort of things, just to ensure, they are the right person to take on an apprenticeship, and that they will be, an influential part of your team in that sense. You're reducing staff turnover, improving your company image, increasing diversity. You can upskill existing staff. So if there's someone who's been with you a long time, they're really looking to develop their skill set, gain that actual qualification, you're giving them a really, really good opportunity in that sense. You're able to attract the best candidates. Again, for example, if you put a vacancy out through ourselves, we will 100% ensure that, as I mentioned, is someone who 1000% suits your business needs, will gel well within your company, all those sort of things. And then, yeah, you're improving productivity as well at the same time. You're giving someone a chance to, work and learn and gain that qualification at the same time. So these are some of the programs we offer. I won't run through all of them, but I'll give you about a minute to kind of just look through those. I know a lot of our construction courses are very popular, things like carpentry and joinery, painting and decorating, property maintenance. But we've also got things like business admin, team leader, childcare and early years. All of these sort of things, they're gaining a lot of popularity. IT technician. So, we don't ever get to a case where courses are full up, but a lot of them are, they do become quite popular. So it is always, if you've got someone you're looking to take on as an apprentice, it is always better to kind of have them apply sooner rather than later in that sense. So how to recruit an apprentice? So again, you know, myself and Emma, we work in business services, so we have a dedicated team where we, from start to finish, will help you through that process. You know, we have bespoke services. We have very specific areas in which we, you know, we reach out to employers who work in construction, as I mentioned, hair and beauty, IT, business admin, all of these sort of sectors. So, you know, you can easily go onto our website and just have a look at, you know, are we offering what your business needs? Again, linking into that, we have experience with quite a range of employers, you know, a lot around obviously Langley, Berkshire area, some even beyond that. So again, we've worked with the, you know, just lots and lots of different employers ranging from small businesses to you know, much larger businesses. We of course provide support in each aspect of the process. So again, as I mentioned, from start to finish, you know, myself and Emma and the team will ensure you're never left feeling confused or, you know, like nobody's supporting you. You know, we're always available for a phone call. We're always, again, you know, engaging constantly to make sure you're getting the best experience you possibly can. And just to add to that, I'd like to say, you know, I choose to believe it is quite an easy and successful journey. You know, a lot, you know, 10 times out of 10, our employers are generally, you know, really happy with the process. You know, we're always getting positive feedback. Okay, how to recruit an apprentice. So again, there's a number of ways. You know, one is, as I mentioned, you know, if you've got someone in mind who you're looking to employ, or someone you would like to upskill in your own company, that's one way. You know, we recommend have a bit of a chat with them at work, and then, you know, encourage them to apply on our website, or, you know, just give us a ring and we'll talk you through how to do that. Other than that, we also have our own vacancy portal, whereby you would get in contact with us and say, look, here, you know, here's our business. We're looking to take on a number of apprentices. How can you help us? So we will send out a vacancy form to yourselves. It's essentially like a job spec. You know, you will literally fill it out. What are the hours, the minimum requirements? What, you know, sort of experience do you want them to have had? What kind of skills? And then we will upload that onto the government portal, you know, via Langley College. And as the candidates come through, you know, we will advertise that on our social media, on our website. As the candidates come through, we will match it up with, you know, the most suitable and viable candidates for your business. You know, really match up with what your requirements are based on your vacancy form. We will then send you those applicants, and your own interview processes will kick in that sense, where, you know, you would perhaps give them a ring, ask them to come in, get a feel of what they're like. Once you've done that, you would then apply. The candidate would apply on our website for the apprenticeship. We usually recommend as well that you review the standards. So if you look at the link there, www.instituteofapprenticeships.org, that will really outline what each course, for example, if you're looking at plumbing, you know, it will show you exactly what the plumbing course will entail, what the course fees are, how long it will run, you know, all those sort of things. And once again, you know, you will get support in each aspect of the process, so you'll never really feel alone, or, you know, like you're unsure of where to go. You know, we will always offer you that support. And once again, you know, it has been said that it's an easy and successful journey in that sense. So here's a few case studies. This one's from Drivetech Autos. So as you can see, Chris was an apprentice at Langley College. So when he started his own business, he knew that he was giving his young employee the best experience he could possibly get. Again, Chris had, you know, been to the college himself, and, you know, he was very adamant. He's very happy to work with us and actually employ, you know, a couple of apprentices himself. This one's from Shazad at Halricks Limited. So again, this was another apprentice of ours, you know, who'd been through the experience, you know, appreciated it himself. And yeah, you know, he took on an apprentice as well, and he's very happy. He was very happy with how the process went, you know, how quickly we managed to get them through the process. And I think, you know, he's happy to hopefully take on another apprentice when the time comes as well. Yep, so there's another one for TJ Carpentry. Again, some really good feedback we're getting. You can see that the apprentice is very, eager, happy to learn, happy to work with his employer. So again, it's just about matching it all up and making sure everyone, employer and apprentice, is getting the best experience. Yeah, and then this one I'll let you have a read of as well. So that's for Ditton Park Academy. That one is Mandeep. Again, this one's for a business admin role. So, definitely becoming more popular. A lot of young people, well, not just young people, but a lot of people from different, varying ages are very eager to develop on their admin skills, their sort of office business skills. And it's just a great thing to actually give that opportunity to apprentices and employers as well. So if you've had to think about it, or you've probably been thinking about taking on an apprentice for a while, the next step would be to contact myself or Emma on, the number given or the business services website. And again, from start to finish, we will absolutely be happy to support you in any way we possibly can. So 100%, any details are on our website. And yeah, feel free to give us a call or email us, and we'll get through to you as soon as possible. Okay, yeah, so if anyone has any questions, myself and Emma would be happy to answer those.
That's great. Thank you so much, Shoaib and Emma. Yeah, we do have some questions. I've got a couple that have come in, so I'm going to ask you those. So initially, what help can I get towards the cost of an apprenticeship or an apprentice? Sorry.
So there's a few different funding options. If you take on an apprentice who is 16 to 18, and you are classed as an SME, so you have less than 49 employees, the government will cover the cost of the apprenticeship. So there'll be no co-contributions from you as an employer. The government will cover the cost, 100% of the cost. If you take on a learner who's 19 or over and you're considered an SME, then you will be expected to cover 5%. So your co-contribution will be 5% of the total cost, and the government will cover the other 95%. So, for example, business admin, the total cost is £5,000. If you take on a learner who's 19 or above, you would be expected to pay 250. If you're a bigger company and you contribute to the apprenticeship levy, then the payments will just come out of your levy pot. So also it's worth mentioning that if you take on a young learner, so if you take on someone who's 16 to 18, the ESFA will give you a £1,000 incentive. So that can help towards, paying their salary or any kit they might need.
That's fabulous, Emma. That's really, really good information. Okay, so next question we've got is, how long does the whole process take to employ an apprentice?
So I'm happy to cover that one, Emma. So, again, as you saw in some of the case studies, it can be a very quick process. Myself and Emma and the team, we aim to kind of simplify it as much as we can for the employer. It's difficult to put an exact timestamp on it, but, we essentially, once the application comes through, we literally are on it as soon as we possibly can be. As soon as we see that the application has been made, we will then send out employer documents to you. It's just a few initial checks, just make sure that you meet the funding requirements. Then your apprentice will be interviewed with an assessor. That usually takes up to around about an hour. And once our assessor is happy to take on the apprentice onto the apprenticeship course at the college, myself or Emma would then come out and, you would come to the college and we would complete the employer checks, the sign-up paperwork, and then you're good to go from there. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Emma?
No, I think you've covered it all. It's pretty seamless and straightforward. I think we're here to support you with everything. So yeah, I think you covered it, Shoaib. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so the next one I've got is, what do I have to pay an apprentice? Is it a standard rate or minimum wage?
So the minimum wage for an apprentice is £4.30 an hour. We would always say that if you can pay more than that, then do. You're going to attract more applicants if you're kind of paying slightly higher. Once the apprentice completes their first year and they are over 19, it then goes on to the national minimum wage. So yeah, £4.30 initially, and then up to national minimum wage once they hit 19 and have finished their first year.
Great. Okay, and next one, can I take on more than one apprentice at a time?
Yeah, absolutely, by all means. So it's, of course, gauge it with what your business needs and requirements are, but we would never discourage you from taking on as many apprentices as you need. So that there's never an issue where there's a certain limit where you can only take one. By all means, whatever your business requirements are, we are happy to help you with each and every apprentice you want to take on for your business.
That's super. Okay, thank you. Well, I can't see if there's any more. Just gonna have a quick check to see if there are any more coming up.
I have one, Lynn, if I can jump in.
Absolutely, thank you, Fiona.
Yeah, so Shoaib and Emma, perhaps you could tell us what employers tell you is the real advantage that they found of having an apprentice.
So I think for us, the biggest feedback we get is the fact that they can train the apprentice in the way that their business needs it. So it isn't like a standard training course. They have to tick the box, it is all to do with their business. So for example, if we were working with a carpentry business, for example, and they say, for example, that company doesn't do stairs, they don't have to cover that with the apprentice. We can cover that in the workshop, and they can concentrate on what skills their business needs. So you're bringing in people, you're training them up in line with what you need, and it's kind of a pipeline for the future. So that's, from my point of view, that's what I hear the most. I don't know about you, Shoaib, if you hear something different or... Yeah,
no, that is 100% correct. As I'd like to mention as well, just to add, is that I think that's where me and Emma come in, where we really try our best to, make sure the apprentice kind of matches the business and that, it is a good fit. And we have all these processes in place, and, 10 times out of 10, employers generally are really happy that they're getting to train someone the way they want to in that sense as well.
Great, thank you. We've just got a final question coming in about that, actually, about how you help employers find an apprentice, and is there a charge for that part of the service?
So we offer a totally free recruitment service, and that would, from the very beginning, would be quite an intensive phone conversation where we run through what your business does, what your business needs. We would then get you to fill out a vacancy form, so going into as much detail as you can about what you're looking for, what your requirements are, is there any skills that you need the apprentice to have. We would then use that information to vet any applications that come through, because we would manage all the applications, because generally you do get quite a lot of people applying. So to save time for you as the employer, we would manage the applications, and we would present you with a short list based on the requirements you've told us. We would present you with a short list of all suitable applications, and then at that point we would suggest your own recruitment methods kick in. So whether that's a telephone interview, a trial is always a good idea, and once you've offered the apprenticeship to someone, we would then support you with enrolling them onto the course.
Great, thank you. And one last question that sort of links to the one we asked about what employers think is the advantage of taking on an apprentice. How does the at college learning complement the on-the-job training? How do they work together?
Want me to take that one, Shoaib?
Yeah, I'll let you cover that one, Emma.
So the work at college, it's very much about repetition. So everything that the learner would be doing at work, they would be kind of they would be complementing that at college in the workshop. It's all about repetition. Either the skills coach or the teacher will be going through each skill with the learner until they're confident, and then they would move on to the next one. So it's all about, I guess, the skills that the learner needs in the workplace. We're repeating them here at the college. It's all really focused on the employment and the work-based learning. Does that answer the question?
Yeah,
okay.
That's great. So they work side by side, don't they? To
they
complement.
work side by side. Yeah, the teachers are all they've worked in industry, so they're kind of passing on their knowledge as well as the employers passing on the knowledge. So it's all really working together.
And the equipment, I guess, they use at college is very similar to that in the workplace.
Yeah, the workshops, we try to replicate all of the equipment that they would be using. We have electrical bays with everything in there. The carpentry workshop is all set out with the different tools that they would be using. And like I said earlier, if anyone wants to come in and take a tour of the workshops and see what our students get up to, we'd be more than happy to kind of invite you in and take you on a tour.
That's great. We'll put that in our follow-up email if anybody wants to take you up on that offer, because I think it's worth actually seeing the facilities at Langley to realise how industry focused they are. Somebody's asking what geographical areas do we cover? Is it just Langley? But I'm sure it's not.
No, it's not just Langley at all. As long as the apprentice can get to college 1 day a week during term time, then we cover anywhere. I mean, we've got some of our motor vehicle apprentices are based at Gatwick Airport, so they travel in together. We've got learners that, I mean, obviously we've got Langley, Uxbridge, Maidenhead, Reading, High Wycombe, all those areas. But as long as the learner can commute in, then we work with any employers. Some of our courses are all work-based learning. So business admin and IT, for example, the learner wouldn't have to come into college. The skills coach would visit them on site. So again, location really isn't an issue. As long as the learner, as long as the skill coach can get to you, we're happy to work with you.
Great, thank you. The person that asked that question said that was brilliant because they've got a whole range of different locations, so it would work for them if we can cover that patch. We have somebody called Angela who said, are apprentices interested in horticulture? I wonder if you could pick that up and maybe refer to the college down the hill that might be able to help.
So
sorry.
No, that's all right. Sorry, Emma. So I was just going to say, we at obviously Langley College, we don't currently offer that. I mean, the apprenticeships we are offering are always, constantly changing. We are always adding more. So it's always worth, checking our website regularly. Having said that, as you mentioned, I believe BCA offers horticulture, and that's quite popular, and that's in Maidenhead. I'm correct in saying that, Emma?
Yeah, definitely. I think BCA, that's
they're known
specialist
for that.
area.
Yeah.
Again, we can put a link to their website in our follow-up email if you're particularly interested in pursuing that, because we have a close working relationship with them, so that would work. Okay, I think that's the end of our questions, and great presentation from Emma and Schwabe. It has been recorded, so we will be sending that out to you in our follow-up email. So if you want to go back over any of the points, you can. We'll also put the contact details for the team in that email. And if you've got any further questions or you'd like to arrange a follow-up call with Emma or Schwabe, they'd be very happy to follow that up. Any last pointers from you, Emma and Schwabe?
No, I think, thank you everyone for taking the time out to listen to our presentation as well. And again, as you mentioned, please feel free to give us a call if there's anything you need explained further. Send us an email, go to our website, our social media. That would be amazing, yeah.
Emma?
Yep, same for me. Really appreciate you taking your time out to watch the presentation, and hopefully it's answered a at least some of the questions that you might have. But Shoaib and I are just at the end of the phone, so please do get in touch if there's anything else that we can help with.
And also just to remind that the team are jumping onto the live chat on our website. So if you did want to have a one-to-one conversation with one of the team, you can do that just by clicking on the chat button on the homepage of our website. And I'll just quickly pop the link in here so that it's easy for you to find. I just have to remember to put the hyphen in. That's great. Okay, thank you everybody. And thanks very much for attending the event today.